Welcome back, my friends. Again, for the people that do not know me, my name is Paulette Atencio, and I am here today to show you how to make tortillas tradicionales. And these tortillas were made by our ancestors, and they were passed down from one generation to another. And I hope that you will enjoy it and that you will learn different things in regards to our culture and our traditions. We're going to start off with 3 cups of flour, the all-purpose flour. I have 2 already in here. I'm going to add the 3rd one. So there it goes. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of baking powder. There it goes. The next thing is that we're going to be adding some salt. On the salt, we're going to be using 1 3/4 teaspoon. Okay, so there it goes. The next thing that we are going to be doing, and I already scrubbed my hands really, really well, and I'm just going to mix like this with my hands just to incorporate everything that is in there already, okay? And one of the things that makes these tortillas different from the others is that because when a pig was butchered or whatever, none of the things went to waste. They would melt down all the lard, and so for a lot of us, that is the type that we used. Okay, so over here we're going to have 3 tablespoons, and that is of pork lard, and in it goes. We are just going to mix again, okay? And it's very, very simple. There is really nothing to it. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to add one cup of milk. And this, if you don't want to use milk, that's all right. You can use water. A lot of times, like when we're growing up in Peñasco, my dad was a farmer and a rancher. And my mother would make a lot of cheese, yogurt, and regular cottage cheese with a cream. She would make homemade butter. All that I'm going to be teaching you how to make later on. But before they would make the cheese, they had to remove what is called the whey, and that was like a watery, milky color. So they would save it. They would not throw it, and that is what they would use to bake their tortillas or for their bread. Okay. So anyway, very slowly, I'm just going to mix this just to make sure that we see like a few little lumps in here, and we're going to incorporate. We're just going to make sure that everything is in compliance. And there you go. It seems like it's ready to go. In the meantime, you're probably seeing a whole bunch of smoke. You're going to say, well, what happened to the baker? How come she has black eyes? Well, it's not that. It's the smoke that's getting in my eyes. That is one of the trades from living out in El Rancho. But then we didn't even have coals. We didn't have charcoal or anything, but we had to make our own. It's called a paella. Or we would just place some stones around it and find an old beat up grill or whatever. Anything went, and that's how we did it. But here goes our milk. Over here I have 1.5 cups. The reason is just in case I need a little bit of liquid. Please, before starting, make sure that you read your recipe. Make sure that you have everything ready. And also, try not to add so much liquid to where you're going to ruin what it is that you are trying to do. It is better to have your dough stiff than to have it all watered down, because there's no fixing it, okay? So very little. I'm going to make a little well, and little by little, I'm just going to go in here. The milk is already warm, and I'm going to stop right there. And with this hand, I'm just going to just in and out, in and out. Try to get it together. It's still very, very dry. And so you just keep adding until you incorporate everything. And it doesn't take a long time. This can be like very relaxing instead of wanting to yell at your husband or say some bad words or whatever. You just say, oh, I'm just going to knead this tortilla dough and I'm going to take it out on my dough. So anyway, you just keep on doing it and doing it. You can see it's still very, very dry. So it's not done yet. So we're going to try again. And I think this is going to be very good. From here, we're just going to mix it. We're just going to take it out of the pan, okay? Out of the bowl. And you're going to see that it's still not the consistency that we want, but that is all right. So we're just going to squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to be adding a little bit of flour, and then we're going to work it. And the more that you work your dough, the better it's going to get, okay? This one you really do have to work it in. And you can just roll to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back. You can just punch it, you can just do whatever you want to. You can just squeeze it like that. And as you see, the more that you work your dough, the better it's going to get. I don't really think I'm going to need to add any more flour to it. And this dough, what it needs is for you to really, really punch it in and out. You need to work it and work it and work it and work it. Okay? And I believe that that's probably good enough. So we're going to get our bowl that we use for the tortillas, okay? We can use it. We just kind of clean it off. There we go. I'm going to place just a little bit of oil on the top, and I'm going to oil the bowl. Just you want to make sure that your dough doesn't get dried out. So you just put a little bit of oil. Or your manteca if you still have some left over. Okay? And so in goes your masa, and you have to let it rest. Here we are back again. The tortilla dough is resting and rising. In the meantime, I have some green chili from Hatch, and so I'm just gonna place it over here on the grill, and we're going to roast. And there's different types of chili. We have so many different kinds, but mostly we used to eat the chili that was grown in Chimayo and close to the area when I was growing up. Chili from Hatch, we didn't get it too often until way later. But anyway, this will take a while, and it's going to start to roast. And once it's done on one side, you just keep rotating until the chili is done. Welcome back. Here we are roasting our green chili, and you have to keep an eye on it and just keep turning and keep turning. Your green chili is going to blister, and that is how it's supposed to be. And so you just be patient, and until it is blistered all over the place, and until it's roasted. Once that it is done, we're going to place it in a plastic bag and just to let it sweat so that the skin will come off a lot easier. And then after that, I will take you through the finishing product. But I just wanted to say, you know, when I was a little girl, well, there were no freezers. And so that was not a way of life. It was not a way of preserving things. So my mother, she would have to can the chili, or she would have to dry it. And I'll show you, like the chili, once that it was roasted and peeled, they would keep the stem on, and then they would string it and string it. And then after that, they would just, on the clothesline, they would just hang it out to dry until it was ready. And then they would just put it or save it in a garnish sack. And then whenever they needed it, they would get a string of chili, and they would just dip it in hot water. Then they would cut it up, and they would continue with the recipe. And you know, like the red chili, a lot of times when they leave it out on the fields, it eventually gets red. And then after that, they also can do the same thing, except they don't roast it, they don't peel it. And raw, they just go and they make their ristras, and they hang it out to dry with the sun. It gets a beautiful color. And that is what we call chile caribe. And there are different methods of preparing different chili dishes. A lot of time after that, they can even grind it. So that turns into chile molido. We're going to be making some at another time. And so the chili just can keep on and on. We used to have what is called the huerito, el chile huerito, a little white, I guess like a Japanese chili. And that was real common. Like all the seeds, it would not go to waste. They would save it in the veins from inside the chili, and then they would kind of grind them, and then that's what we used. And it was called chile piqui. They used to do that like a spice. A lot of times what they would do is they would use it to make their salsa. If it was a salsa that needed to be done in a hurry, they would do that, or they would use it in the pico de gallo that we are going to be doing today. But once that our chili is completed, while it starts to sweat in the bag, I'm going to start with my tortillas, and then we'll put everything together. And this meal is going to be la comida del campo. A lot of times when my dad was with the cattle, we used to go with him. And this is what we would do while they were herding all the cattle or whatever it was, branding them or whatever it was that they were doing. We would take chili and we would roast it up, you know, in the mountain, and we would make the tortillas, and we would take whatever meats we had. Sometimes we would just get the meat and we would just throw it in the coals. Or sometimes if we had a hanger, we would just do it like that, and then with some chili. Little did we know that years later they were going to call them shish kebabs. But we just called it la carne del rancho or comida del rancho. And the aroma, oh, the chili, it just gives out such a wonderful aroma. As you can see, our green chili is coming to a close. It is already done. It is nicely blistered. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in a plastic bag. While my comal is getting ready for the tortillas, I'm just going to take time out to cut some onion. Okay? Here we go. And you can just use, and we're just going to be making a little bit. We're not going to be making so much pico del gallo, but you can make as much as you want. It's really good. We're going to get our tomatoes. Usually, if we had only the red ones, that was fine. But over here, I just had the two colors in the refrigerator, and so that is what we're going to use. And you just cut them. You know, if you have like a chopper, an electric chopper, you can do that for your onion, for for your tomatoes, for anything that you want. So long, it's all about making your life easier. Always remember, work smarter, not harder. Here we go. Let's do this one and we'll finish. You can even cut them round in little circles, whatever it is that you want. So that is done. And let me just see. Okay. I think that this one is already done. And usually that you can, I should put it under eyes. But in those days at the camp, well, there was no need to put it under eyes because we're going to eat it right away. And then you're going to try to get rid of as many seeds as you can. You just kind of sweep them off just with your knife, okay? Now what we're doing is we are just cutting the chili the long way, lengthwise, and then we're just going to cut. And this one, it doesn't matter. The size does not matter. We're going to get the next one. We're going to just cut it like that. Nowadays, they even have a chili chopper, the old-fashioned kind that you purchase like from Mexico, or they have the electric one also. And then we're just going to add this to it, okay? Okay, we're back, and we're ready to make our tortillas, okay? Tortillas, you can make them as big as you like or as small as you like. I hope that my comal is not too hot. Always remember, usually for a comal, it's like between medium, about medium is fine. You don't want it too cold because your tortillas are just going to sit there and they're not going to brown. That's what we call las oleadas. You can make as much or as little as you want. The only thing you do is add water to it. Now, how easy can that be? And with this one, you can make your tortillas. You can make your like a Parker roll, or you can make sopapillas, okay? So it doesn't get any easier than that, unless you decide, no, I don't want to, I'm gonna go buy them. But there is a big difference, and there's a taste between what you buy at the store and what you make. And you just roll it back and forth. And don't worry if you think, oh no, they're going to come out like maps. That's fine, not to worry. Sometimes some ladies, they keep making a whole bunch at a time so they don't have to be rolling. And then all they do is they just come and they place it. And like I say, I don't know, the first one is the one where you taste. And usually you can start. When you see that your dough is getting like bubbly, like with bubbles, that means that it's doing good. It means that it's cooking. So you turn it around and you leave it there. Okay, the last part de la comida del campo is to get bologna, the round bologna, and then you just place it just right there on your comal. And that's not going to take very long. You just really want to warm it. You're going to turn it over, just like that. And right there. Okay. Right over here. You place it in the center of your tortilla. You're going to place your tortilla en el plato del campo. Okay? And then you're just going to fold it in like that, like a sandwich. People are going to come and they are going to get pico del gallo, and they're just going to add some, as much or as little as they want to. And then they're going to fold it in. And then they just fold it, and there is their meal. That is going to be the meal for their lunch or for their supper. It depends on how late or you get the next one. Okay, let me get both of them right away. I'm going to get one tortilla. I'm going to place it in the center, just like that. you're going to get your licks that you have over here, like that, and you're going to fold it. But anyway, you sit down, and I hope that you have enjoyed the stay, the time that you have spent with me today. I hope it was not too long, and that you won't get discouraged. And she says, oh no, I love Paulette, I just love her, but then I can't get out of her house. She just takes forever and ever, and I love it, but I'm going to have to make time. But then I know that you will come back to me, and that you will not forget to share my video with all your friends and your family, and that way I can continue being on YouTube, okay? You have a very wonderful evening, and I will see you soon. Bye.